Hi everyone, Nick Walker with Aither Technology. I'm working on a query issue that I'm having with one of my clients and came upon a scenario that I wanted to share with everyone on some simple database tuning that you can do that will massively increase performance on your database. So here I'm working on a table or an update to a table, one or classes, and I had a scenario where we had a high CPU and high memory usage go into an alarm state on one of the databases. So I'm looking at this query because it was running about the time of that. And I'm using this tool DataDog, which helps me see the query plans and the SQL that was executing during this time frame. And so I have up here the query plan for this update query that ran. And what I'm looking at here is it's doing the update, and there's a join that's happening on this class ID with another table, classes. And you can see here I have this line that says sequential scan. And what a sequential scan means is that it's literally going to iterate through every row in that table until it finds a match, which means that because it's iterating through every row, it's not using any kind of an index. And you can see if you look over here that its total cost for this portion of the query is 27,000 out of 34, so it's a good 85% of the query time. And it's using 1.3 million rows, which means that it's going to scan that many rows as it looks for this. And then, of course, you're going to have a large chunk of memory being used, 13 megabytes, as it does this scan. So when I look at this query and I see a sequential scan on this ID, the first thing I want to know is there an index on this table on this ID? Indexes that are existing on that table. So let me take a look. So when I run it, yep, it shows that there are primary key on class ID and runner profile ID, but not an index specifically on class ID. It also appears in the second index. So on that query, going back into my DataDog, you can see that it's only using this class ID column. It doesn't have runner ID or any other any column on it. So in order to make this thing use an index, I'm going to need to create a column just on class ID. So let me go back over to create this index. I'll just simply do create index if not exists on runner classes class ID. And go ahead and create that guy. And that took less than a second to create that index on that 1.3 million rows. So now if I go back and I look at the indexes on this table, we'll see that it has a fourth index now on this class ID. And so now when this query runs, we should have no more problems. It should actually use that index to do a join. It should reduce the cost of this query by about 85%. So that is a great example of how you can use the query plan and other tools to identify an issue that you may have running on your SQL database and correct it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, my name is Nick Walker, and happy coding.